Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to show you one of my 15mm armies. This is a British army from the 7 Years' War that operated in Western Germany from around about 1760. The figures are old minifigs, and I collected them in the 1980s and painted them at that time using enamel paint. I didn't have acrylics at the time. The army that Britain sent to fight in Western Germany alongside our allies the Prussians went across in two stages. The first stage was up until about the Battle of Minden, and in the enthusiasm generated by the success of that battle, a second contingent went across to join it in 1760. My army has the Minden regiments, the cavalry and the infantry, and some of the additional regiments that came across as a result of the victory at Minden. At Minden, the British infantry were brigaded together with 2 battalions of Hanoverians, and they, through a misunderstanding, advanced unsupported against the centre of the entire French army, and acquitted themselves extremely well, resisting multiple charges by the best cavalry of France. At the same time, the British cavalry left Minden under somewhat of a shadow. Their commander, Lord George Sackville, was accused by the Commander-in-Chief Ferdinand of Brunswick of cowardice and sent home in disgrace. Well, the Battle of Minden in 1759 is probably the most well-known battle from a British perspective. The Western Theatre saw many major battles, and the British contingent was active in most of them. So from Wellinghausen, Wilhelmsthal, Warburg, Emsdorf, all these battles, British units fought valiantly. The generals commanding this contingent are not well known. Apart from Granby, who people might have heard of, famously charging bald-headed, the others are not household names. So we have Conway, Mostyn, Beckwith and Waldegrave. And finally we have some artillery, a couple of 6-pounder batteries and some battalion guns. There have been a lot of books written about the 7 Years' War, but most of those concentrate on Frederick and his campaigns against the Austrians and the Russians. The Western Theatre is relatively poorly served by comparison, but I'd like to just draw your attention to a couple of books that I have found useful. The first is His Britannic Majesty's Army in Germany During the 7 Years' War by Savary. This covers the entire theatre from the opening manoeuvres when the Duke of Cumberland was in charge through to Ferdinand of Brunswick taking over and on until the end of the war in 1763. Excellent book. Not quite as easy to read as some of the Duffy titles, but gives you all the detail you could need on the campaign. The second is called The Coward of Minden, and this is a little different. This deals with the scandal of Lord George Sackville. In going through the history of that scandal, it goes into great detail on what the British cavalry actually did at the Battle of Minden. And that is really fascinating stuff. I found mine in a local sale at a library which was getting rid of old stock, so it cost me 50p. It might be difficult to find now, but if you can, it's a good read. And the third book I would draw your attention to is by Christopher Duffy, and that's The Military Experience in the Age of Reason. It deals with the individual soldier, the officer, the general, and goes through what it might have been like for those people. Fascinating work, Well worth a read. Well, that then is my British 7 Years' War army. I hope you found this interesting, and thank you for watching.